Hello. So today we are going to talk about some Norwegian magazine. So in America they have Craigslist, in France we have Le Bon Coin, in Sweden they have Blocket.se, and in Norway we have Finn.no. And I have a few saved search with some keywords like Oric, Atari, things like that. And a few weeks ago I got a search that triggered on Oric with this magazine. So Hobby Data, issue number 4 from April 1983, and number 5 from May 1983. And this one covers the test of two new machines, the Color Genie and the Oric one, with the question, is it better than the Spectrum? And the subtitle is Norwegian first magazine for personal data computers. So, let's see what we have in the number 4. So first I have the abonnement. So abonnement Hobby Data starting with number 5. Please pay as early as possible if you don't want to miss some livery of your magazines. And I hide the name. And here we start with the first ad. Norway has received the brand new Oric One, your personal computer, with a 16 kilobyte version at 2000 kroner and the 48 kilobyte at 3000 kroner. And we can see that these one are delivered by AD Electronic AS, which is where I got one of the Oric One I bought years ago, also on Finn. And as you can see, they had, for some reason, which I don't know, their own power brick. The standard, that one is a British model. The standard power brick looked like that, with a plastic case, but that one is a metal case. So I'm not quite sure why. Maybe they could not get it certified, so they made their own. So anyway, no other computer gives you so much for money. 16K or 48K RAM. The basic is stored in the 16 kilobyte ROM. Basic for some Pascal. Well, there is basic in the ROM. Force exists. I don't think I ever seen the Pascal released. Ergonomic keyboard with 57 keys. 20 lines of 40 characters with uppercase and lowercase characters. You have to remember that back in the day there are some computers which only had uppercase characters. Graphic display with high resolution 200 by 240 pixels. Display control with ink, paper, double flash inverse. 6 octave of sound on 3 voices plus hi-fi lead. Hi-fi lead means you can get the audio output on 2 of the pins of the tape connector. Centronic printer interface, expansion port for disk station, so floppy drive on modem. Cassette interface with 300 and 2400 bauds, and a reset that does not lose your program, which is by pressing this button here. And we now deliver from our storage, which means they have it in stock. It's not just, we reserve and we order from the Oric. And here we can see the VIC-20 was on the top, followed by ZX81, followed by the Spectrum. So I'm not sure how they classify their top. The Oric is at 4th position. So here we have another one. Opplæringskomputer computer means educational teaching computer. With basically the same list of things that what we had on the first page, but with some specs about the Oric printer, which will be available in March at about 3000 kroner, on the Oric microdisc, which they say is a 5¼ inch, which is totally false, because the Oric microdisc will ultimately be a 3-inch drive like that one, and it will arrive way later. And the first 19 programs are under production, games and educational. And you can get a neck monitor, green or color at different prices. And the 16K was announced but not yet available. So as you can see, that one is a 16K model. The ideal machine at all level during your EDB education. So for what I know, EDB is a generic name back then for anything related to electronics and programming. And here we have news. So Epson, a computer I never seen, the microprocessor something, MPF, and EDB Skolen. So EDB Skolen et InfoConsult are cooperation to deliver Oric 1 to school in Norway. This includes also the creation of a teaching book and all that should be ready this month. These books will not only cover the Oric 1, but it will be a foundation for other schools in Norway. InfoConsult and EDB Skolen will deliver some packs complete with the machine, the monitor, and the books. And that here, this is ad for EDB Skolen. I started as an LF 7 years ago, and now I'm a teacher full-time. So EDB Skolen objective is to have a high school status in the next 2 years, etc. So they have 250 instructors in 110 locations. So here we have another ad for the Oric 1. Here you can see that I'm selling ZX81 with a 16K, 32K, 64K RAM packs. Mattel Intellivision, Creative Vision, a new Texas Instrument, high resolution for ZX81, software for the ZX81, and we have the test of the Oric 1. So can more or less see. So you can see that one is a 16K, and the one they are testing is a 48K machine. So what does Bjørn Bastiansen thinks? Yeah, so the Oric 1, which was long expected, is coming to the Norwegian market, and we got a machine on rental from InfoConsult, one of the importers, to get a test. To talk about difficulties of fabrication, like the ULA chip, explain how it's built, made two parts for the case, which are the size of A4, roughly A4 page, describe the capabilities. And one of the things they're talking about is the power connector. On that they had problem. They called a Raclette 6mm plug, which after some time can get loose and to big pain to the user. And indeed I checked. That may be related to this custom thing. That one is the original one from Oric. And that one is a new one, which is indeed kind of loose and much shorter. It does not go all through. Also, the plastic is much wider, so when the case is closed, that one goes in without any problem because it's narrow, but that one is actually, you have to force to get it through. So yeah, I believe a number of people have been burnt by this non-original power supply. So we talk about the sound system, which has a lot of commands. Machine has very good possibilities, control around the sound. The fact that the cassette system supports 2 different speeds and you can auto-load. Back then there were quite a few computers where you needed to do complicated things to be able to auto-start a program. The various screen resolution, the quality of the picture, depending if you are using UHF, so on the output here or the SCART. Description about the Microsoft Basic, which was a very complex thing. The grab command, which allows you to get some of the memory from the high-resolution graphic system if you don't plan to use it, so which give plenty of memory. Dec and doc, which are very uncommon instructions. Everybody knows pick and poke, which are able to read or write 1 byte in memory. On dec and doc, does the same thing, but with 2 bytes, which is very practical if you need to print addresses. Support for the Oric with direct hexadecimal conversion, which apparently some machine did not do. Possibility to print characters in high-res mode using the char instruction. Structure programming with if then else repeat until. Debugging with trace tron trough. For some reason, they actually like the way you can edit source code using Ctrl-A to copy. That's one of the things I always hated on the machine. When you know about it, I mean, it's practical. Basically, some system allowed you to edit a line directly on the text, but the Ring does not do that. The Ring just has a single line editor, and you can move the cursor, and you go click, 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 and then you do Ctrl-A to copy each of the characters you are interested in. So it's practical if you have, like, for example, 4 lines of text that you are very, very similar, and you just want to change one thing. You write it once, and then you go back to the line, you change the line number, and then Ctrl-A on every character you want, you change the one character you don't want, like for example, if key equal X or up or down, and then you get a new line by just basically typing nothing. But it's very messy if you don't know it. So speed test on the small description. So speed test is not very useful if you don't have the list of tests for other machines, so yeah, if you don't have any test for the machine, that's useless. So we have ZX software, Spectrum, Oric 1, again. Now in Norway, the future is a force, the biggest star in the sky of computing, the Jupiter Ace, coming in force. We all know that force was the future. Morse program for ZX. Le Computer Club et Sandness. Programming Basic. So you can see all these are new in Norway. So the VIC-20 was already there, but the Commodore 64 just arrived. And the ZX81 was there, but now we have the Spectrum, etc., etc. Ishi on electronic. That one is to find out the type of grease that you need to use on your ski depending of the temperature of the air, temperature of the snow. Is it a new snow? Is it mucky? Yeah. Test color Jenny. Okay, so here we can see. So the Oric has a 1.9 for test 1, that one has 2.5, 15.8. So that one is faster on the test 1, but slower on test 2, slower on test 3, the Oric, and the Oric is much faster on test 4. Which I guess it's a Z80. At actually 2.2 MHz, which is quite slower than many Z80. Z80 are often at 3 point something. So competition in the first issue, and the winner is Björn Harland. So that probably was a competition of very small programs. Many of the magazines had some mini comics. So let's see. It was nice of Dad to make a computer room, but I'd like to know when it's going to be my tour to actually prove it, to try it, because Dad spent his time playing on the computer. Another ZX81 game. Overview of the world market for the MOS storage chip. I believe. And it's very complex for me. My Norwegian is not that good. More from Oric 1 in Skiko AS Ashi. Oric 1 is used now by schools and hobby people all over the country. Skiko AS has delivered the most Oric 1 computer in Norway. The Oric 1 with a memory of 48,000 characters costed just 3,000 kroner. Contact us for more information about ordering. Programming in assembly. And yeah, so EDB Skolen. And feeding the screen on VIC-20. Some announce. And the Jenny color. So that was the issue number 4 of Hobby Data. So let's see what we have in OB5. Norway is invaded by new machine. This time we have the Jupiter Ace and the Dragon 32. So we still have Oric 1 here with a price reduction from 3,240 to 2,975. Now we have an Oric in color, the advanced home computer. VIC-20, VIC-40. Oric. TechSet TX800. Actually, that one looks a lot like the Laser 200 that my uncle had. Huh. Narvesen, which is like this shop where you can buy sandwich, snacks near the metro station. In sausage with in a waffle thingy on the ZX81 computer, please. 2 cola on the Space Invaders. Thanks. So more EDB Skolen. So announce about the ZX83, which could be a laptop system. Which machine are the best? Using some criteria I don't know about. More Oric 1. Check about pirate import version of the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Yeah, so it's possible that there is official and non-official imports, which may result in, for example, your computers delivered with this type of plugs instead of one which is fixed for the European market. Course of basic programming. Expansion interface for the VIC-20. Yeah, apparently with the search in memory and magic code debugging. Oric 1 program available at MicroPro. Drawing 3-dimensional figure on the Oric 1. Dragon 32. Visit in the capital. Hobby Data was at the start of April on a tour around Oslo and visited the EDB Skolen and a few other companies. Obidata, take a look at force. Good old diagram programming, ordinogram in French. Test of the Jupiter Ace. But maybe the fastest microcomputer in the universe. And here is what force looks like. Programming tips. Bubble sort. Pascal for Spectrum. Audio Electro, Norway's biggest importer of software for the VIC-20 and Commodore 64. Video Data Monitor VM12, 12-inch high resolution monitor. More clubs. And there we are. That was Obidata number 5.